Hello, it is the 30th day of March 2022, and of course it is another beautiful and exciting day to bring you the newspaper review right here on TAF TV, Port Harcourt, River State. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and of course, as you know, it is and has always been my pleasure to bring you the newspaper headlines. But as usual, as customary, before we're doing that for today, we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, the newspaper headlines all for you. Do stay with us.
Have you gotten your PVC? As the 2023 Nigerian general elections draw nearer, do not be an onlooker. You can better still join a party and get your PVC ready. Our leaders have started showing interest to run, so what are you waiting for? Do not say your votes do not count. Yes, it does, because if it doesn't, the politicians will be running after you to buy your votes. Let your voice be heard through participation.
This message is proudly brought to you by TAF Media Limited.
All right, y'all, welcome back from that quick break and taking you straight now to our first paper for today. We have amongst the headlines in the Daily Sun for today, we have outrage, tears trailed Kaduna train attack. Outrage, tears trailed Kaduna train attack. That's on page 6 and 8 of the Daily Sun. And next in the Daily Sun, we have my presidency will make Nigeria better, says Governor Wike. My presidency will make Nigeria better, says Wike. That's on page 28 of the Daily Sun. And next, in the Daily Sun, we have don't spare anybody wielding AK-47 unlawfully. Buhari orders service chiefs. Don't spare anybody wielding AK-47 unlawfully. Buhari orders service chiefs. That's on page 6 and 8 of the Daily Sun. And next, in the Daily Sun, we have Soludo submits Wosu. Soludo submits Wosu 19 other commissioner nominees to Assembly. That's on page 3 of the Daily Sun. Soludo submits Wosu 19 other commissioner nominees to Assembly. That's on page 3 of the Daily Sun, right? And next, in the Daily Sun, we have 2023 Abia PDP zoning strange. 2023 Abia PDP zoning strange. That's according to Onyema Ugochukwu, says Abia PDP zoning strange. That's on page 27 of the Daily Sun. Next, we have Kwankwaso dumps PDP, joins NNPP. Kwankwaso dumps PDP and joins NNPP. That's on page 8 of the Daily Sun, right? In the top right corner of the Daily Sun, we have here, lastly in Daily Sun, we have PDP. We will come up with acceptable position on zoning. We will come up with acceptable position on zoning, according to Autumn. That's on page 27 of the Daily Sun. All right, that's the much we can take in the Daily Sun for today. You want more details on those headlines you heard, do get a copy of the Daily Sun for yourself. Take you straight now to our next paper for today. We have amongst the headlines in this day, scores feared kidnapped in terrorist daredevil raid on Kaduna train. Scores feared kidnapped in terrorist daredevil raid on Kaduna train. Next, in this day, we have with new structure, access target to be among Africa's top 5 banks by 2027. That's on page 8 of this day. I go again. With new structure, access targets to be amongst Africa's top 5 banks in 2027. Right, that's on page 8 of this day. And next we have $418 million pari refund. Governors appeal suit challenging dismissal of deductions. $418 million Paris refund. Governors appeal suit challenging dismissal of deductions. Right? Next, in this day, we have Nigeria suffers $14 billion loss to farmer herder clashes, says Osibanjo. Nigeria suffers $14 billion loss to farmer herder clashes, says Osibanjo. That's on page 6 of this day newspaper. And next on this day, we have Constitution Review. Constitution Review. National Assembly transmits 44 bills to states. National Assembly transmits 44 bills to states. That's on page 5 of this day newspaper. Lastly on this day, I beg your pardon, Nigeria's multiple overlapping tax system worries Buhari. Nigeria's multiple overlapping tax system worries Buhari. All right, that's the much you can take of this day, and taking you straight now to our next and last paper for today. We have amongst the headlines in the Punch newspaper for today: Kaduna Abuja train attack. Kaduna Abuja train attack. Buhari National Assembly. Governors demand tough actions. Survivors recount ordeal. Buhari National Assembly. Governors demand tough actions. Survivors recount ordeal. All right. Next in the Punch for today, we have 3 Kwara killer kidnappers shot dead. Weapons and charms recovered. 3 Kwara killer kidnappers shot dead. Weapons and charms recovered. That's on page 7 of the Daily Sun. Of the Punch, I beg your pardon. And next we have Presidency. I won't bow to APC's intimidation, declares Wike. Presidency. I won't bow to APC's intimidation, declares Governor Wike. That's on page 8 of the Punch. And next we have OAU students murder. OAU students murder. Falana seeks Fiat to prosecute hotelier and others. That's on page 7 of the Punch. And next in the Punch we have here, poor Nigerians to hit 95.1 million in 2022, says World Bank. I go again, poor Nigerians to hit 95.1 million in 2022, says World Bank. That's on page 28 of the Punch. All right, next we have Customs hand over 3.9 billion naira drones. Camouflage, others to army. That's on page 29 of the Punch. And lastly, in the Punch, we have state assemblies receive 44 bills in constitution amendment. State assemblies receive 44 bills in constitution amendment. That's on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. All right, that's the much we can take in the newspaper headlines for today. Right about now, it's time for us to go over to our discussion segment. And before we do that, we'll go on a quick break. And when we come back, we'll take you straight to our discussion segment. Do stay with us.
Have you gotten your PVC? As the 2023 Nigerian general elections draw nearer, do not be an onlooker. You can better still join a party and get your PVC ready. Our leaders have started showing interest to run. So what are you waiting for? Do not say your votes do not count. Yes, it does, because if it doesn't, the politicians will be running after you to buy your votes. Let your voice be heard through participation.
This message is proudly brought to you by THAV Media Limited.
Okay, guys, you're welcome back from that quick break, and joining me in the discussion segment for today is not really a very familiar face, but someone who knows a thing or two about politics. And by that person, I'm talking about Miss Natasha Brown. Mr. Brown, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Today.
Thank you so much.
All right, Natasha Brown, amongst the headlines today, we have outrage, tears trail Kaduna train attack. Still on the Abuja-Kaduna train attack that happened, I think, yesterday. So I really don't know what you have to say concerning that.
First of all, it's really horrible. It's a horrible thing to see how insecure we are in this country presently. First of all, I'd say I'd send my condolences to actually everyone who lost, loved ones on the train attack. It is crazy how, the roads are not safe. So people are saying, we don't want to go by road because we're afraid of getting kidnapped, there is no money for ransom. And then you are thinking that train would be a better one because, who would ever want to think of that here in Nigeria? But unfortunately, it's happening and people are wondering what's going on. what's the government doing about it? Are they going to do the normal, oh, we condemn it, you know, just basically speak words? So I think it's really horrifying. And at this point in time, we're in a state where I think almost every Nigerian citizen is appalled and afraid, because we are wondering what really can be done about this. Are we supposed to take up arms for ourselves now? But even if we were to take up arms for ourselves, how can you be able to combat bomb? They bombed the train, you know. And then on Twitter, I saw a young lady doctor, Dr. Chinelo. She was one of the casualties, and she died. You know, so it's a whole lot of things that even after the bomb and after they had abducted people, even taking people to the hospitals, they didn't have enough people, you know, to donate blood, and it's just a whole mess. And we don't know where to go from here. Okay. Right now, everybody's simply just saying if the president had any form of shame, he should actually resign, because nothing is working in the country. So it is an appalling thing, and I don't know where we go from here. I only hope that we as citizens, we can be able to do what we can for ourselves to protect ourselves. But how much more can we really do? How much can we really do? So it's an appalling one, and I hope that, you know, the federal government really get to look into this. And the forces, you know, the police folk, the, you know, DSS and all of those people, they should be able to look into this matter and get the culprits and let some heads roll for this kind of thing. Like, enough is enough. There's really too much going on in the country at this point in time.
Yes, actually there's too much going on, but people are actually seeking for answers. What can actually be done? What do you think can be done at the moment to really curb the rise in insecurity in the nation at the moment?
First of all, I don't even understand why the Boko Haram people are being given amnesty. I don't understand it. I don't understand why there is no penalty for what they do. People just come and say, okay, we surrender. Surrender to what? What was your intention? What were you fighting for? What were you agitating for?
After killing souls, many souls.
So you just come and we just say, okay, we rehabilitate you, take you to school and all that. There is no penalty. Even when people are being abducted, ransom is being paid.
Okay. Sorry, a quick question. Don't you think, or do you think the granting of amnesty to these terrorists after they might have killed so many persons, do you think it smells something fishy about them being sponsored by some persons in the government?
I think names have already come out. Names have already come out.
Because on normal situations, we've seen jungle justice being given to persons who did little compared to what they've done. But in this case, you see someone who has murdered souls from state to state, and then all of a sudden he comes out and says, okay, I've repented, and then at the end of the day, he's being granted amnesty, and the next thing you see is they fly him out of the country, he's somewhere doing all right. Does it really tell you something about them being sponsored by someone in the government?
It's not even a speculation anymore. Names have come up. Names have come up. Some people were executed, I think, recently in Saudi Arabia or which of those Arab states, you know. So names have come out that there are certain people that are actually sponsoring this Boko Haram folk. And then we don't understand why we still haven't gotten any arrest. We don't understand why we haven't gotten any faces to these people. We don't understand why the government has not been able to clamp down on all of these things going on. That's why the whole citizenry is basically saying the government almost is involved. Because if you're not taking pertinent steps to be able to make sure that you secure the people that you have pledged to serve, then why are you in governance? Why are you governing us? Yes. You know, so at the end of the day, I think one thing that really should be something that is a forerunner that can help us, you know, with security is for the government to start taking actions. We need to see you acting. It's not about, you know, the soldiers taking photos and videos, oh, they're in Sabisa for us, you know, they're fighting. No. We need to see that you are getting these people, you are either remanding them, you're either sentencing them to, you know, giving them maximum sentence based on what they've done, and not this amnesty that you're doing, you know, so.
Live execution.
You know,
all right,
so yes.
Mrs. Natasha, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on that particular headline. All right, a very quick one before we call it a wrap for today. What do you make of Governor Wike declaring that his presidency will make Nigeria better?
We've heard it before.
From many people.
Almost every presidential aspirant says the
such.
same thing. We are going to do this. We are going to do that. Nigeria is going to be this. Economy is going to really grow. You know, investments are going to come in, foreign investments.
Sorry to
and all
cut
of
you,
that.
but on a second thought, don't you think Governor Wike might be different because of, you know, have you looked at the PDP governors recently? Which of them do you see to be as, should I say,
Forward-thinking, progressive?
as Wike at the moment? Or should I say faithful to a party at the moment, like Governor Wike? So on a second thought, I don't know. I have this impression that he might just be different. I don't know if I'm wrong, but what do you think?
Well, for me, I still think it's words. It's words. Actions speak better. But bringing it down to the level, you know, the state level, as a governor, yes, he has been progressive with his projects, you know, compared to other governors as well. He has been progressive. We've you know, applauded him for that. But governing at a federal level is far different from state level. Okay. Right? So to speak, yes, we see certain infrastructures he has put up in River State and more, but still we know that there are still deficiencies. We know that there are still other avenues of investment he should have explored to greater open the economy and create an enabling environment for SMEs to thrive, right? And create certain grant opportunities for young people in business to be able to latch onto. You know, so I will say that to an extent he has done well with River State, and to a large extent I think we are secure to an extent. I haven't heard so much about kidnaps and all of that for a while. Yes, in River State. Okay. So to an extent he has done well, but for me I still say that it's not about words. Governing at a federal level is much more than words. It's more about your action. It's more about how progressive thinking we see you to be, and how much you are more invested in the citizenry than in your own bias.
So if I get you right, you're trying to say, yes, even if Governor Wike has actually done well in the governorship angle and of a state, even if he has really done some projects, it's still not a guarantee to say, okay,
it's not. It's
he can be a better president.
It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. But you know, I am proud, you know, his bold audaciousness, how he came out to say, you know what, I'm vying for this office. So I like all the people coming out.
It takes a lot of boldness to say that.
Yes, but beyond that, I think that, you know, even with the presidency, it comes with character. It comes with character. It comes with culture, and on how to speak,
so
on how to communicate, on how to communicate, on how to make your points known without sounding off too brash.
Okay.
So to an extent, I would say that I like Governor Wike, but then, you know, when it comes to his communication style, I think there has to be some tweak there as well if you're going to be the 0.1% of a great nation like Nigeria. So yes.
All right, Mrs. Natasha Brown, thank you so much. Miss Natasha Brown, I beg your pardon. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. All right, unfortunately, we have to call it a day. All right, and for you who has been watching us, thank you so much for staying faithful. Without you, we would not be here. This is TAF TV once again, and this is where we call it a wrap on today's segment of the newspaper review and discussion segment. Thank you so much for sticking with us once again, and do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. On YouTube, it's at TAF TV. Instagram is at TAF TV_NG. On Facebook, it's at TAF TV, and on Twitter, it's at TAF TV. My name remains Cyril Aloysius, and until we come your way again next time, do have a wonderful day.